Welcome to Movie Lover News. I'm your host, Tyron Rubin. I'm doing the show with Alex and we are bringing you the #1 movie news show on earth, Movie Lover News. There was a poster revealed for a film called One Day. I hadn't really heard about this film much and started doing a little bit of investigating about this film, and it looks extremely interesting. One Day is going to be released very soon on the 8th of July this year. It's based on the book by David Nicholls, and he wrote the screenplay for this film, which is being directed by Scherfig, who is the director of the 2009 film An Education. An Education was written by Nick Hornby, and this film, One Day, stars Anne Hathaway as Emma and Jim Sturgess as Dexter, and also stars Patricia Clarkson. It's a very interesting film. I'm just going to read a little bit about this film. Emma, who's played by Anne Hathaway, and confident Dexter, who's played by Jim Sturgess, spend the night together following their graduation from Edinburgh University in 1988. Though they don't become romantically involved, they become friends, and in subsequent years, their lives take them in different directions, but they keep in touch. The novel visits their lives on the 15th of July in successive years in each chapter. Emma becomes a waitress in Kentish Town at a horrible Tex-Mex restaurant, while Dexter becomes a successful television presenter. Dexter becomes increasingly addicted to alcohol and other drugs and is often presented as a wreck. Gradually, Emma fulfills her ambitions and Dexter's career collapses, going from presenting a mainstream television show to cable TV to being fired from a late-night video game review show. It was very interesting. There was a quote by Nick Hornby about this book, One Day. Nick Hornby said that it's a big, absorbing, smart, fantastical, readable, on-off love story. What's interesting is Nick Hornby wrote the script for An Education, which was directed by Scherfig, who's directing this film, One Day. It looks really interesting, and I was a huge fan of An Education, so I'm really excited to see what Scherfig does with this film. David Nicholls, the writer of this film and who wrote the novel of this film, wrote a film in 2007 called When Did You Last See Your Father, and a film called Starter for 10 in 2006, which was based on his novel. Anne Hathaway, who leads this film as the beautiful Emma, was in 2010's film Valentine's Day. She was in the huge blockbuster Alice in Wonderland, and she was in a film called Love and Other Drugs. I saw the film Love and Other Drugs the other night. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy Anne Hathaway's performance in that film. Anne Hathaway's doing the voice of Jude, and Jesse Eisenberg's doing the voice of Blue in a film called Rio, an animated film due out on the 15th of April. And the big news is that Anne Hathaway is Selina Kyle in The Dark Knight Rises, due out on the 20th of July 2012. So Anne Hathaway is a huge, huge star. She's also said to be in a film due out in 2013 called The Silver Linings Playbook by writer-director David O. Russell, who directed the wonderful film The Fighter, and it also co-stars Anne Hathaway with Bradley Cooper. Jim Sturgess, who plays the male lead opposite Anne Hathaway in this film, plays the character Dexter. I first noticed Jim Sturgess in the film Across the Universe, where he played Jude in 2007. He displayed a lot of acting talent. He was a strong actor in that film. He also sang in that film, so he looks like a multi-talented, huge star on the rise, and can be seen now in the film The Way Back, which was directed by Peter Weir. Patricia Clarkson was last year in Shutter Island and in Easy A, and can be seen in a film due out on the 22nd of July called Friends with Benefits. So that's Patricia Clarkson and the two leads, Anne Hathaway, who plays Emma, and Jim Sturgess, who plays Dexter, in the film being directed by Scherfig, who directed the wonderful film An Education, and it's based on the book by David Nicholls. So on my personal excitement meter, I put One Day at about a 7.58. It's said on a couple blogs, people commented that it looks like a film that's quite similar to Blue Valentine, which was one of my favorite films of 2010. And if you haven't seen Blue Valentine, you have to see it. It's a tumultuous story about a couple set in 2 time periods with Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. It's a wonderful film. But I think this will be a little bit different to Blue Valentine because it's said to be quite unique, taking place over a couple of years with this relationship developing. It looks like it's an interesting film, and an education which also dealt with a weird relationship. So I'm really excited about this film, due out soon on the 8th of July, called One Day. Hopefully we'll see the trailer for this film, and the 2 leads are huge stars right now, Jim Sturgess and Anne Hathaway, in this film One Day. Thanks for watching Movie Lover News. I'm your host Tyron Rubin, doing the show with Alex, bringing you the #1 movie news show on earth. Thank you.